It doesn't matter what plays you call if you don't have the personnel to run them. Lowe's Red Vest Associates can help you execute whatever home improvement project you've drawn up. On top of that, with the Lowe's app on in-store mode, it's easy to call your own number and find anything yourself. Or, if you're really under pressure, order online before 2 p.m. to get it same day at home. Lowe's knows home improvement. Lowe's is an official partner of the NFL. Same day valid on eligible in-stock items in select zip codes only, subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. Exclusions and more terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Every 4 years, the world watches. Every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
We've been saying all season long that, it's a long season and, there's still a lot of games to play, but suddenly we're almost at the halfway point. I mean, is there a sense in the locker room, it's guys, we got to start doing it now?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that sense has just started just because we lost our fifth game of the season. I think it's we felt that way past couple weeks, and for whatever reason, we haven't necessarily been getting the results we expected. I think defense is playing really well, and we got to do our part picking it up on offense and going out there scoring points and touchdowns. And we understand that, and we know that, and that's our job as an offense to go out there and score points. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. It doesn't necessarily matter how it's going to look as long as we're putting up points and the end result is what we want. That's all that matters going forward.
Okay, one final question is, obviously, there was 8 sacks last week. Is that just Andrew Thomas missing, or is that, just a lot of people made mistakes?
No, I don't think it had much to do with AT being not being out there. I think just kind of the way the game that was going early, we had some trouble with protection, and I think that kind of hurt us in our past game. I think from our perspective as offensive linemen, I think it didn't help our quarterback, and him being down on the ground that many times, in the first, second quarter is not really what he's used to so far this year. So I think there's a lot of blame to put on us as, the front five up there early on. And eventually we did settle, but later on, probably late second quarter, but at that point kind of felt like the game started to slip too much. Got to do a better job establishing the run game so we stay out of those passing situations and giving up 8 sacks. You're not going to win many games giving up 8 sacks in this league, and we understand that, and we own that as an offensive line, and we got to work to be better for sure. And that's kind of unacceptable in our offensive line room.
Thank you.
Yep.
Paul Schwartz.
Hey, John.
Hi.
Good. How you doing? I want to ask you a question. What was your perspective of Dexter Lawrence as an opponent when you were with the Packers? And then how did that change maybe in the summer in training camp? And maybe how did that change after watching him the first several games this year as a teammate?
Yeah. Dexter has been a force in this league since he's come in since day one. Every year, kind of looking over the schedule, you kind of looking and thinking about all the guys you got coming up. And played the Giants twice with Dexter as my opponent, and that was always kind of one of those games that you have circled, knowing that you're going to get one of the best in the business, and you're going to have to bring your A game when it comes to that. But coming here, being on this side, seeing him as more than just a player, as a teammate, as a person. He's phenomenal in all aspects. He just demands so much attention when he's out there in the football field. I think it would be not very smart to leave him a one-on-one block with a center or a guard, and he requires a lot of attention. He's constantly getting double teamed, and you see how explosive he is and how much. How good of a player he is, and I think he's probably tops in the league in sacks, and double teams acquired, and it's just really special player, really special person, and happy to have him over here and only have to go against him during the weekdays.
Is all those things you said about him obviously are true, but did you think that he would be leading the league in sacks with 9? I mean, he's an interior pass rusher. That just really, all that other stuff is right, but he's never had, he's on pace for 20-something sacks this year. I mean, is that something that even someone like you who's gone against him looks at and says, I didn't know he was going to have 9 sacks after 7 games?
No, I don't think anybody ever would suspect a nose tackle to be leading the league in sacks, and 9 sacks is really impressive only through seven games so far. So for him to be doing what he's doing at such a high level, and it's really fun knowing that the defense is going out there and play well, and we got to do our job on offense to complement them and put up points so they can keep playing like that.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you.
Art Stapleton.
Hey, John, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. You've talked about it several times. I know I've asked you this year, just in terms of thinking back to last year for the team you were on, and just the idea of how you guys were able to kind of come out of what people would consider an NFL abyss and make it all the way to the playoffs and really be playing well. How do you compartmentalize the emotions that you're dealing with on a weekly basis, from the highs of winning games to the losing games like you have the last 2 weeks, versus the calendar and the idea of how the games just keep ticking off? And like you said, it's been around for a while, this urgency. How do you kind of deal with that, the one versus the other?
Yeah. I hate to try to compare the two things, but last year, the team I was on, we were 2-5 at this point of the year as well, just like we are here. We're 2-5 here going to week 8, and tough matchup Monday night in Pittsburgh. And both scenarios, the last 2 seasons, this is definitely not where you want to be. But this doesn't mean that you're dead. The season's over. There's still a lot to play for. It only takes 7 to 8 wins to get a playoff spot in this league, and I think we're definitely capable of doing that the rest of the way. And it just comes back to taking it day by day and rallying around the guys in the locker room and making sure everybody keeps the faith. We have a lot of really strong veteran players, veteran presence in this locker room, so I know that we're going to do our best to keep everybody, the younger guys, everybody else, in high spirits. And it doesn't matter what the record is. It only matters, what we go out there and our mindset on Sundays and, this particular weekend on Monday, and going out there and doing our best to get the win. And that's what it starts with, winning each practice, and then that translating into winning every game going forward. And it doesn't have to be every game, but, we got to string a couple together for sure.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
We'll take 3 more. Mark Canizero.
Hey, John, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. Just curious, with the way you guys have struggled offensively and obviously protecting Daniel, what do you see in the Steelers defense, and how difficult is that place to play in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, the Steelers, I think, have been one of the probably one of the best examples of consistency in this league. They've been doing it just very well, very solid for so long, and their defense hasn't changed in forever, and they have the right guys, they have the right culture, and they got playmakers all over the defense, and that's what they pride themselves on over there in Pittsburgh. And everybody knows they got a really good ends on both sides, and they're big and strong in interior, and they got great support on the backside, and linebackers playing really well right now too. So tough defense, but it's going to be a great environment Monday night in Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh's huge football city, and Monday night, fourth quarter, when they start playing their music and the towels start being waved, it's going to be an awesome environment. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it's going to be really loud. I feel like that's kind of one of the environments that we thrive in, and we played in some tough environments so far already this year, and I know the guys are going to be excited and geared up for this one.
Thanks, John.
Yep.
Greg Johnson.
Hey, John. I know you don't want to make excuses for not having Andrew, but I mean, you guys played 6 straight games with the same 5 linemen taking every snap. You know, first team reps in practice or with the same guys. So I was just wondering for you personally, like what was that adjustment like last week, being next to somebody different? And do you think that by the end of that game that you guys maybe, you know, found something you can kind of carry over into next week that, you know, you kind of settled in now with this new offensive line, or are you anticipating that there might be more changes even this week?
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to get some snaps playing next to Josh Azudu over OTAs, a little bit of training camp, just kind of mixing people around, trying to feel everybody out and how everybody works together. But I don't anticipate any new changes. I think going out there, your first start of the year, first, second drive, having one blunder doesn't mean the season's over for anybody. 8 sacks is unacceptable, and we know those offensive line, and definitely a lot of things that we could do better and make Daniel feel more comfortable back there, and instill more confidence in our play callers. Not have to feel like we have to throw the ball so much, and we can hand the ball off and gain 3-4 yards a carry. But going forward, we feel really comfortable with Josh out there. He did really well once he settled in after one of those drives, and I feel like we held up relatively well later on in the game. But at that point, it's too late, and we just got to start out the game way better than we did, and I think kind of rattled our quarterback, which is our fault, not his fault at all, and the play calling, which again I feel like goes back on us.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Last one, Jon Runyan.
Hey, John, what's going on, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm curious, what is your advice to a player like Josh Azudu? I'm sure, like most young offensive linemen, you have struggles early on in your career. What do you say to him about trying to learn that position on the fly, and also at the same time trying to build his confidence?
Yeah, I mean, Josh is, he's not young, but he's a younger player. He's really talented. He's really smart. He knows his offense really well. He's been in a really long time. So there's honestly not much that he needs. I think for him, it's just going out there and feeling comfortable and executing. And to be honest, I didn't really have to say much. Like, even kind of day one being in there, it wasn't like, all right, like, here we go, new left tackle. Like, I felt really comfortable, had all the confidence in the world, and Josh should go out there and, play well. And I think he did, and it's just going to get better each and every week. And, obviously it's tough to replace, our starting left tackle and captain, AT, but I feel like Josh is a great replacement, and he's just going to get better every week, and that's his mindset. And he's always looking to improve on whatever it is, whether it's in the weight room, anything with his body. He's always on top of the playbook, and he's just a really good pro. And I don't see anything necessarily glaring that's going to take away from his progress going forward.
And then I know you're playing left guard, and TJ Watt's on the other side primarily. But is he a player that, even though you're on the other side, that you have to keep an eye on, like, the whole time? Like, does he, just keep an eye, maybe he moves, maybe whatever he's doing, no matter what, it affects you and the line as a whole? For sure, yeah.
TJ mainly plays over the right tackle, but they have shown to, move him as one of those floaters kind of in the middle of the defense, and he can kind of pick and choose whatever gap or whatever guy he wants to play against. So that's something that you kind of always have to be ready for. But I think going forward, like, he's one of the premier pass rushers in this league, and if you're going to keep only 2 hands on him the whole game, like, he might get his. But I think our offense and our coaches are going to put a great plan in for him, like most teams do when they go against him. And Jermaine's played against him a couple of times, and I know he's really confident going against him. And it's going to be a great battle between 2 great players, and I'm excited to watch it.